Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Spirit Bubble.
Hello, hello.
Yes, I'm Kara.
And I'm Alma.
Yes, and we're here to share lovely information that just helps you live on happily.
Yes, that's what we're hoping to be able to do.
Yes, absolutely. We hope that you've had a chance to check out our previous videos and you were able to get something out of those as well as this one too. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content because we would absolutely love to be able to get to more interaction with you. So
Yes, absolutely. More interaction is always appreciated.
Yes, yes. Of course, it's so easy for us to be natural just between the two of us. Imagine a whole discussion.
Oh my goodness, that would be just amazing.
Yes. So today we want to talk about getting inner peace. Well, or should I say, living a more peaceful existence. And this one is kind of a two-parter here because the thing is, peace and happiness has to come from you. It has to start with you first. You know how we always say, love yourself, give yourself love, give yourself care. The reason why we say all this is because in order to be able to start a peaceful life, you have to start it from you. Everything that you do in life, everything that you strive for, it has to come from you. It's like when you're starting a business, right? Let's say you want to start a fruit farm, right? The world doesn't make that fruit farm happen. You know who does?
You
You.
do.
You make it happen. It's your actions, it's your motivations, it's your dreams, it's your goals. It all has to come first from here.
That's absolutely true. It comes from the inside, how your inner world and how you perceive it, how you react to it, how you even enjoy it. It all comes from you and it reflects out into how you experience the outer world. So, by focusing on the inside and bringing peace and happiness to the inside, that will better help you to focus on the outside and be where you need to be, which would be part two.
Yes, absolutely, because there's so much that we can say on this that like if we touched on all this topic all in one recording, I swear you would be watching a 2 hour video.
I agree. I
Like,
agree. Because
yes,
there's just so much to be said about it.
right. Well, inner peace, it's something that a lot of people struggle to obtain, you know? It's like you're not happy with some things about yourself. And it's so easy to let that eat at you. It eats away at all your opportunities. When you sit and you say, "Oh well, I'm not happy with the way that I look. Oh, I don't like my hair. My eyes aren't pretty enough. Oh, I don't like I'm not talented enough, blah blah blah, that you're feeding yourself poison.
Mhm.
You're really
Very much
feeding
so.
yourself poison.
That and that's a good thing to jump into your mindset. What is the mindset that you keep? Because that could be a gauge for the quality of your inner world and how close you are to finding peace.
Mhm.
Because your your thoughts and how you react to them, that is kind of the essence of who you are because your thoughts are your consciousness, you on the inside. And then how you react to those thoughts projects your inner world out to the
Yeah.
world around you and your experiences. So it's very tied together to make sure you're reflecting on what your mindset is. Because, like, if you, as you said, if you're feeding yourself poison with your mindset, it's going to be that much harder to find peace and happiness.
Yeah. It's like something that I remember hearing is that your heart listens to your head. Um, if you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm ugly, and I'm never gonna get anyone," guess what? Your heart is listening to your head. So guess what you're gonna feel? You're gonna feel ugly and you're gonna feel unwanted. Whereas if you put into your head, okay, you know what? No, I am beautiful and the right person is going to come to me, so I'm going to live as confidently as I can in this life and wait for the right person to come. And guess what? You're going to feel confident. And guess what? That confidence that you radiate from those thoughts is going to bring the right person into your life.
Absolutely. It feeds itself. So, like,
Mhm.
that person that has those negative thoughts of self, they're radiating something too, but that's a negative feeling that they're radiating. So when it goes out into the world, it attracts the negative circumstances that they believe will happen. But on the flip side, when you find that happiness and that peace on the inside, you get to send that out into the world
Yeah.
and radiate that for others to pick up on and feel attracted to and to appreciate. So it's either, regardless of the polarity of your mindset, you're sending something out into the world. And the
Yeah.
question that is important to ask is, am I happy with what I'm doing with myself in the world? Am I happy with what I'm putting out there? And ultimately, if you're not happy with the essence that you're radiating, it's time to reflect and do some inner work so you can align yourself and feel better on the inside and therefore change what you're putting out there.
Yeah, and I know a lot of this information also it coincides with a lot of what we have discussed before, like the self-love, and it's more than likely going to coincide with things that we say in future videos, because it's
Mhm.
all linked. But ultimately, what this brings to light is, and this is a phrase that not a lot of people, if they haven't discovered the true meaning or experienced the true meaning of this, may not understand. But it brings about the phrase, happiness is a choice.
Oh, yes. That is such a good phrase. It is a choice. I was just
Yeah.
explaining that to someone today.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Absolutely. I conveyed to them, they had asked me what they thought the biggest secret was to happiness. And I was so excited to get to dive into that.
I know that's such a you thing.
Right? Right? So I was like, yes, another one to talk to. And
Yes.
so I was like, I conveyed that, happiness is a choice that you make. And while
Yeah,
it's easy to say happiness is a choice you make, it's far harder to embody that choice
it
because
is.
we're so conditioned to think a certain way. So we come back to the mindset. If your mindset is habitually negative, it's going to be harder to make that choice to be happy because
Mhm.
you've reinforced the thought patterns that make you feel negatively about the world around you.
Right.
Whereas if you make that choice to be happy, well, at first, you're going to have to make that choice a lot over and over and over again
Yeah.
in light of those negative thoughts that you're conditioned to
Yeah.
think. So, and that's where it becomes happiness is a choice. And it's not a choice you make one time, it's a choice you
Mm-mm.
make in every moment you come to, and it
Every day.
carries you through.
Yeah.
Yep,
Every
exactly.
day, every moment. It's we're reprogramming ourselves when we make a choice that we don't normally there for something that we're trying to change. We are reprogramming that and reprogramming our minds. It does take time, you know.
Mhm. I've heard that it takes 2 weeks to start a new habit.
Oh,
So 14 days of doing the same thing, making the same concentrated decision over and over will
uh-huh.
build a new habit. And like you mentioned rewiring your brain. That
Yeah.
is literally what you're doing because like from a science standpoint, your mind runs electrical impulses, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
run in the same pattern. So your brain is literally hardwired to run thoughts in the same direction. So
Oh.
in order to step outside of that, it takes that conscious choice to do it differently and reinforce that choice over and over
Definitely.
again until it's the new habit.
Right, right. And it's not definitely not going to be easy, but if you really want to do that, that's just what it takes. You know, happiness is the choice for happiness is not an overnight occurrence. You don't go to bed depressed one day and then just wake up. You know?
If only it was like that.
You know what? Although, you know what? I did have an experience like that back in my teenage years. I actually
Oh,
did.
oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Okay. So you know how like every teen is going to have their period of time where they're like that, oh, you don't understand me. I'm depressed. Nothing is worth, I'm meaningless. And I had a few months of that kind of period, right? You
Oh,
wouldn't think it from how like positive and stuff, but
right.
I guess it was just hormones, you know. But I did. I had a few months of that kind of mindset. And every day that I went to bed, the thought was, oh, well, I'm just going to go to bed and it's just going to wake up and be the same thing all over again. Oh, well, let me just do it anyway. And then
Right.
when I woke up that morning, I don't know why or what it was, but when I woke up that morning, I was a completely different person.
Oh my goodness.
I was a completely different person. Now I was suddenly overnight, I was actually motivated for life and I was like motivated to try and I wanted to start going out and doing things all of a sudden. Like it's weird. I swear like I had like a miracle from like angels or something.
Oh, it sounds like it. That's a great way to wake up. I mean, after
Uh-huh.
having a period of low and then to just wake up a new person,
Uh-huh.
that's awesome.
And
You know,
even going like afterwards, it was like I had forgotten I had almost forgotten entirely that period of depression, as if it never existed.
oh wow.
Yeah.
That's like that's like a miracle that you got
Uh-huh.
to live.
Right? So if anyone says that miracles don't exist, I swear to you, that's a real story.
That's an awesome story to get to share.
Yeah.
Because like with my experience with it, I lived, kind of the first 30 years of my life in almost a depressive state just
Oh.
because I didn't know how to appreciate what was before me. It wasn't that I wasn't doing things I liked. It was just even even going through the motions, I felt low. And
Mm-hmm.
so I once I had my breakdown and I started this journey to wellness, I
Yeah.
found along the way the choice to be happy.
The
And it
choice.
it was that at that point in my journey, I was ready to do something different, and that different was going to be happy.
Yeah.
And I recognized at that point that I didn't know how to be happy. Like I hadn't really had any experience actually being happy up to then. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, well, I'm going to fake it till I make it. I'll just
Yes.
do what I think a happy person would do as
Mm-hmm.
often as I can. And you know what? Over time, I just became happy
Yeah.
because it stopped pretending and it just became the new habit to
Yeah.
constantly find the good in the moment. And so over time, I think it was just kind of like a wake up where I was like, wow. I haven't felt bad in like a really long time. And like, that's awesome, like
Yeah.
that's what I was going for. And
Yeah.
so that was the journey for me was it took time, but it was the choice. I remember the choice that of making that finally saying enough's enough. I need to live happy in my life. And what I'm doing now isn't working for me.
Yeah. You made a choice and you acted upon it, even if you felt like it wasn't making a difference. In reality, it actually was making a difference.
Oh, absolutely. It was doing that rewiring
Yeah.
internally. It was sending out more positive signals out into the universe for me to interact with.
Yeah.
And so it was like a self-feeding cycle. The more my mind rewired itself, the more I attracted positive experiences, the more it reinforced finding that peace on the inside.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned the phrase fake it till you make it because I swear it is true. You can totally fake something till you make it.
Yes, you absolutely can. And I will say I'm living proof that faking it till you make it when you want to be happy is a valid way to do it. Because if you think about it, if you haven't lived happy up to that point in your life, you have no experience, no skills, no abilities at being happy.
Mm.
So what's the best way to get skills? Pretend you know how to do it.
And
And then
it's
when you make a mistake, fix it and go forward. Keep the ball rolling.
yeah, yeah, and it really does take active choice to do that. It really does because I mean, you could wake up that morning and you could sit here and cry in your bed thinking about how today is going to be so bad, or you can choose to get up from bed and be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to try to do something good today. I'm going to try to feel good about something. And like choosing to do that, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Making that choice when it comes. It's
Yeah.
it's not like flipping a switch and all of a sudden the happy feels just come because you made that choice, but
Mhm.
it's accepting that you might feel low. You might feel under the weather or down in the dumps or whatever phrase
Right.
applies to how you're feeling. But
Right.
it's it's that choice enables you to get up and do something other than just wallowing in that misery because those low vibes they don't feel good
Mm.
and they can take you and spiral you down into feeling worse because you're not doing anything but focusing on that wall of negativity. And so making that choice to be happy is almost breaking through the wall and seeing something differently.
It's like the wall was the negativity and you have this hammer, right? You have this chipping hammer, right? And every single time that you say, okay, I want to do something, I'm going to try to feel happy today, you're chipping away every single time. And eventually, you chip so far into that wall, you're going to crumble
Hmm.
it.
Absolutely. And from there, you can build a foundation of happiness that lasts.
You
And so
discovered a lot more.
hmm. Yep, absolutely. I told the person that asked me about the secret to happiness, I told him that back in July of 21, I wrote a list of 1,000 things to be thankful for.
Oh,
And, it was this
yeah.
writing that list came really far into my journey of being happy. So it was really easy for me to write 1,000 things. It took me 53 hours and it was a great experience
Oh,
because it showed how many details there are to appreciate. In
mhm.
53 hours, I was able to crank out 1,000 details of ways to appreciate life. And that was just for me. That's not to say that anybody else couldn't do the very same thing if they chose to focus on the good in the moment instead
Yeah.
of that negative energy.
Yeah. When I was in those low days, I was doing a lot of reading as well. So what I did is I made myself a homemade bookmark. And on that bookmark, I decorated it with words and correlating photos of things that I liked about myself, positive
Oh,
things about myself. So every single time I opened up my book to read, I would see these positive things and be like, oh, yeah, I do love music. Oh, yeah, I am an artist. Oh, yes. I'm kind. Oh, geez. Okay. Yes. And it reminded me every single time until I no longer needed that reminder because
See
it's
that?
programmed.
Yes, you programmed yourself.
Uh-huh.
You reinforced the new belief, not the new belief, but the true belief that
Yes,
you
the truth.
needed to feel,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And by reinforcing it, it became the new way of thinking. And now you're just the happy person I know and love to talk to.
Yes, who jumps and leaves and dances and at midnight under the stars.
Nothing wrong with that. To have a carefree spirit and to love life, that is just an amazing blessing to have.
Oh my goodness, yes. It always brings me back to and I know I had mentioned on another video, but remember when I told you that the neighbor stopped and told me never stop dancing?
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
Yeah, because every single time that she saw me out there, like just in my own little world with my headphones and uh, she saw an image of true peace.
Aw. See, and isn't
Yeah.
that such a wonderful reward? You were just doing your own thing, living your own life, and like you're sending it out into the universe. And that lady witnessed you and she saw your piece and was touched by it and
Mm-hmm.
even saw to tell you about it because
Yeah.
it touched her so much. Like
Yeah.
that's amazing.
And it probably gave her a goal for it too. You know, she probably put it in her decision that she wanted that. And now that she has made the choice to try to chase that same mindset, now it's more possible for her to obtain it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the wonderful thing about finding like that inner peace and happiness. It goes out into the world and it really makes the difference on your behalf. Like you are setting a good example, and the universe takes that example and guides you to the people that you're meant to cross paths with that you can make an impact on so
Mm-hmm.
that, the ball keeps rolling. You open your mind, you find happiness. Then you're able to show other people the same path to happiness and it spreads.
Yeah, isn't that the beautiful thing about it?
It really is. It's so beautiful.
I love it. I love it that it radiates. Of course, that's for another video because we could go on another 30 minutes about that.
Oh, right? Right? Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, all in all, like you have to stop if you're not happy with how you feel. You have to stop and you have to look at yourself and be like, okay, well, first, what thoughts and what routine is going on in my head? You have to choose to change that. If you don't choose to do it, you will never achieve it. The
Yep.
peace of the outside world is affected from the peace within. So if you want to create a more peaceful life outside of your mind, you have to start with you.
Hmm. Yep. And, you have to start finding where the inner conflict is. What is creating that inner angst or upset or hurt or low that you're going through? And put words to that so you can understand it. And then once you understand why you're feeling the way you do, it becomes easier to distance yourself from those feelings and work on feeling better. So it, once you know why, and I think a lot of what a lot of people struggle with is focusing on why they're hurting and never really putting meaning to why they're hurting. And without that meaning,
Yeah,
you're just hurting for the sake of hurting. And that's empty and that's not good feeling. So
yeah,
by applying meaning and finding depth to what you're going through, it can lift you up out of the lows and get you into that happiness that you're seeking.
right, right. And that's a little bit of touching on shadow work too.
Hmm.
That's a whole category of itself. I know the word shadow work, it sounds like it's like, ooh, I'm gonna go do bad stuff.
Love it.
No, no. That's a whole another explanation of itself. Um, but I mean, yeah, you do have to be able to identify why are you making the choices that you're making.
Yes, that right there is a perfect jumping board to dive into because, like, why are you making the choices you're making? I talk to so many people and they can't tell me why they're doing what they're doing.
Oh,
Like, I have to kind of like guess and like come up with ideas why a person in their situation might act the way they're acting and
mhm,
kind of get them flowing in the mindset that they understand themselves so they can know why they're doing it. Because if you don't know why you're doing something, how are you ever going to change it? You don't understand yourself. You don't know what's triggering you.
right,
You don't know what's going to make you feel better. I mean, there's a lack of connection to what's going on.
right,
So it definitely takes making that choice to
yeah.
reflect on yourself.
And if you don't decide that you want to explore that happier side, how can you understand yourself fully? If all you understand is the problems that bother you and you hang on that negative, how can you understand yourself as a whole if you're not focused on the good side of it? You know?
Yep,
How can
absolutely.
you?
It's so funny that it's like we focus on oh, it just slipped my mind. We focus on being the best of ourselves for other people.
Mhm,
We project only the best and then we hide the negative, right? So
mhm,
people don't see it. But then on the inside, it's reversed. We're really, really negative on the inside.
mhm,
And then we take it out in the world where we expect the world to be harsh because we have that negativity in us.
mhm.
It's, and so it's just so interesting how that works out, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it can cause so much more than just hurt to yourself. Emotionally, it can cause anxiety, it can cause doubt, it can cause um, lack of faith, it can cause lack of confidence. There's so much of it. And when you're in that state of mind, it is harder to understand that you can just choose to be happy and it'll lead you to that. When you have so many outside forces that are eating away and picking at you. Um, but it has to start with you.
Yep. And there we cycle back to it. It starts with you.
It has to start with you. If you are not willing to make a change with the way that you're going to react, perceive, or see or hear things, then everything else is not going to change out of that negativity.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So, but in terms of the outside, we'll touch that next time that we come back for sure, because that's a whole other side of the coin here.
Mhm, absolutely. It is that, and it's the other side of the coin that we'll get to in a future video. But like
Yes.
this side of the coin is the inside. So
Yes.
if you're wondering why the inside matters, it's because it does reflect out into the world.
Hmm.
So remember, to find the peace in the world you seek, it starts on the inside to find the peace you need to feel better.
Hmm. Absolutely. We hope that you guys were able to find some motivation. If you were needing it, somebody to just give you that lift, we hope that you found that motivation or just something valuable to make your life better from within. Um, Definitely check out our next video where we're going to explore the outside part too, because it all connects.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, if you have any stories about how when you made a choice as well, we'd love to hear from you. Share your experience.
Yes. We love to hear everything that's going on with you and what choices you're making and how
Yeah.
you're getting closer to your happier life.
What's a choice that impacted your life the most?
Ooh, good one. I like
Oh,
that.
yes. Let us know. What's one choice that impacted your life the most in a positive way? Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait either. And I can't
Yes.
wait to dive into the next video. But
Yes. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and you guys have a lovely night. It is 11:11, by the way.
Oh, wow. Happy 11/11.
Remember
Yes,
this
it
date.
is.
It's the date
I looked at my clock.
11:11.
You said 11/11, and I immediately looked at the clock and was hoping that the time was going to say 11/11.
Yeah,
It
it's the
didn't.
date. Oh well, sorry for misleading.
No, I'm glad we got to record a video on 11/11. Those are fun numbers when things sync up like that, match up,
Oh,
and angel numbers as they are,
I
you know?
love it. Yes. But you guys have an awesome 11 at 11. Let us know about an experience that you chose to turn around and how it affected you. And we will catch you next time when we talk about the outside.
Yes, we will.
Y'all have a great day.